Welcome to the late 1950s, sound of clock ticking. A period when the city of Chicago was a complex puzzle of contrasts, marked by prosperity and penury. Visuals of the cityscape from the 1950s visualize an era where the affluent, the 1950s, visualize an era where the affluent north side of the city, sound of money counting machine, visuals of lavish houses and plush cars, was a stark contrast to the impoverished south side, sound of wind howling in desolate streets, visuals of dilapidated buildings and deserted streets. Take a moment and let that sink in. Historians stated, Chicago was a city split in two. Sound of a city crowd, visuals of active streets teeming with life. The bustling metropolis with its tall skyscrapers, sound of wind gusting between buildings, visuals of towering skyscrapers, and dynamic jazz clubs, sound of jazz music, visuals of energetic jazz clubs, was largely ignorant of concealed beneath its gleaming surface. Pause to visualize the dazzling spectacle and the hidden despair. The South Side, predominantly African-American, contended with poverty, unemployment, and inferior living conditions in stark contrast to the flourishing North Side. Sound of contrasting environments, visuals of neglected neighborhoods, signs of rising crime. Reflect on this impactful disparity. Sociologist Jane Smith observed, this socioeconomic divide created a fertile ground for crime, with rival groups vying for in the marginalized neighborhoods. Sounds of sirens and police radio chatter, visuals of street police struggling with the escalating crime. Consider the ramifications of this divide. Under the stern rule of Richard J. Daley, the city had a somber undertone. Sound of a stern voice giving orders, visuals of Daley's portraits, his urban development projects, police confronting the rising crime wave. Political analyst Robert Johnson noted, his focus on citywide development often overlooked the city's most vulnerable. Sound of construction projects, visuals of neighborhoods. Reflect on the magnitude of this struggle. Beneath this chaotic veneer, an even more dangerous force was taking root. Sound of suspenseful music, visuals of a dark crime-ridden alley. Renowned true crime author once revealed that a notorious killer was on the loose, who would send shockwaves through the imprint on its history. Sound of a gasp, visuals of sensational crime newspaper headlines. Take a moment to understand the implications of this disclosure. The late 1950s would not be primarily remembered for its jazz tunes, prosperity, or political tactics. This era would bear the grim shadow of haunting, unresolved crimes, sound of chilling wind, visuals of crime scene photos, stressed law enforcement. This sequence of chilling mysteries, sound of a church bell tolling, visuals of a misty cityscape, reflect on the wave of fear that swept the city. Little did the city know that it was on the brink of a terrifying event. The dreadful case of the Chicago child murders, sound of a child's lullaby playing eerily, visuals of missing children posters, overwhelmed police force. We invite you now to ponder. What factors contributed to the socio-economic divide and increasing crime in Chicago during the 1950s? We welcome your thoughts in the comments section. Reflect on what you've heard and share your thoughts. Sound of a pen scribbling on paper, visuals of written notes. In the heart of Chicago's horrifying plight, a spine-tingling sequence of child homicides jolted the city to its foundations. Visuals of innocent lives lost from various communities paint a grim picture. Images of these previously peaceful streets, now splattered across the screen as crime scenes, are a chilling testament to lives brutally extinguished, each act of violence outdoing the previous in sheer brutality. The city fell prey to an unimaginable darkness, its people tormented by an anxiety from the ensuing chaos. Recognizing the imperative need for immediate law enforcement intervention, a task force was swiftly put together, bound by one lucid and steadfast mission to nab the incessant tormentor. We are shown visuals of these task force members clustered together in meeting rooms, scrutinizing maps and clues, their by determination. However, the task soon turned into a formidable challenge due to the offender's elusive demeanor. A raw moment captured on film shows Police Chief Robert reflecting, locked in a relentless struggle with an adversary who eerily evaporated into thin air, leaving his horrific acts. Images show the usually vibrant city, its streets now deserted and paralyzed by dread. The lively hum was replaced by an uncanny silence, punctuated only by the chilling of monstrous deeds. Parents are seen holding onto their children with a desperate grip, their eyes filled with horror at the thought of losing them, to this faceless evil. Urban sociologist Dr. Stone, in a recorded interview, remarked, "The infectious laughter of children that once reverberated through the streets of Chicago was now replaced by heartbreaking screams of terror." Visuals of Chicago's deepest fears materializing right before its citizens paint a grim picture as the hunt for the launched with utmost urgency. It was more than just bringing the criminal to justice. It was about reinstalling a sense of lost security and retrieving the innocence brutally stolen by these shocking child murders. This nightmarish era cast menacing shadow over Chicago, a shadow that ominously loomed, threatening to persist long after the initial shock and dread had dissipated. As body count escalates, a montage of footage underscores the immense strain on law enforcement. Driven by a solemn vow to halt these ghastly acts and restore tranquility, a specialized task force is set into motion. Their primary function is conveyed through scenes of officers intently dissecting case files and maps, their target, to corner this slippery offender. Gradually, images of their hurdles come to light. It was a rocky path, littered with obstacles that are amplified through footage of rudimentary tools and methods, accentuating the lack of modern technology. Sequences of intrigued bystanders complicate standing as symbols of the obstruction of public scrutiny. Despite these hurdles, the police's determined chase is encapsulated by clips of nocturnal investigations and high-stakes meetings, their determination unyielding. The desperate race to collar the murderer initiates spine-tingling countdown, visualized through scenes of a city of Chicago on edge, implicitly questioning who the unseen adversary is next. Before we proceed, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into history's most haunting cases. Now, let's return to our narrative. As the city of Chicago trembled under the looming terror, we retreat a step to plunge into the psyche of the beast wreaking all this havoc. As we sketch this out for you, you'll see visuals of psychologists and criminal profilers meticulously sifting through the evidence, attempting to decode the patterns and motivations that fueled this shadowy figure. They crafted a chilling depiction of a predator who thrived amidst fear and disorder, a figure concealed in darkness, skulking in society's unseen corners. This monster was more than a physical entity. It was a manifestation of the city's deepest fears. The horror lay not just in the act, but also in the anticipation, the uncertainty, and the feeling of powerlessness. As the city slumbered, the monster prowled, transforming Chicago's lively nightlife into a nightmarish landscape of terror. Now we present you visuals of the citizens of Chicago battling their personal demons. You can feel their palpable fear and potential danger lurking in every shadow. While the task force relentlessly pursued this creature, the people of Chicago fought their own wars. The city was under attack from within, its own fears and insecurities weaponized. As we traverse this chapter of history, it's crucial to remember that the monster was not merely a physical being, but a projection of the society's deepest fears. It was not just the city of Chicago that was besieged, but the very concept of safety and community. Now let's proceed with the story of a city under siege. Remain with us as we dive further into this horrifying account, presenting you with more visuals for a comprehensive understanding. Observe the consequences of the murders, not just the loss of lives. They fractured the unity of a society and instilled fear in a thriving city. Now think about their fear. See the rampant fear. Watch the media mania through images of newspapers with alarming headlines, television screens showcasing turmoil, cameras flashing non-stop. This mania, along with the ensuing panic, heightened the fear that consumed the city. However, now visualize the life of families deeply impacted. Notice the sorrow imprinted on their faces, the fear in their eyes, in their community's ability to protect them, amidst of unity rising, casting a dim light of hope. Watch how, even in the face of such terror, a sense of collective resilience begins to emerge. People banding together, their determination growing stronger in the face of adversity. Imagine then the deserted streets coming to life, alarmed faces turning into determined ones, and silent vigils turning into collective action. Feel the fear giving way to unity, the desperation resolve. We invite you to share your perspectives. How do you perceive such events shaping a community, as shown through these first-hand experiences? Please share your insights in the comments below. As we delve deep into the haunting narrative of the striking visuals of Chicago steeped in this grim history emerge on the screen, emphasizing the power of history and the enigmas it contains. As the narration unwinds, images of the persisting riddles and theories related to this case ripple across the screen, magnifying its mystic allure. Next, we introduce the significant strides made in forensic science, exemplified by cutting-edge lab investigations that shone light on this case. The screen buzzes with developments, demonstrating their potential to unravel the case. At this point, we pivot to show images that emphasize the case's profound impact on in today's society through snippets of news reports, movies, and documentaries. As we draw to a close, the screen gradually dissolves into a montage of the lingering mysteries, advancements in science, and an unending influence, underscoring the case's timeless. As we draw to a close on our profound exploration of the chilling Chicago child murders, we shift our focus to the broader societal implications that demand our consideration. To aid this, we present visual aids. Now appearing on your screens are graphics charting societal evolution, serving as a stark reminder of our journey, emphasizing the invaluable lessons history gifts us that should never be disregarded. To illustrate this, we present the unresolved mysteries of this particular case via haunting images, while the potential breakthroughs in forensic science are shown through futuristic representations of technology that may one day untangle these puzzles. All these aspects stand as a testament to the power of history and the collective memory of a city. With powerful visuals and enlightening infographics, we've dissected the case, its repercussions, and the lingering shadows it continues to cast. Now, over to you. What's your take on this terrifying tale? Do you have any speculations or insights to offer? Perhaps you have musings on the societal implications or thoughts on the progress in forensic science illustrated earlier that could potentially crack this case wide open. Your viewpoints and perspectives are vital. They help in deciphering the complexity of such cases and their lasting effect on our society. To illustrate this, we will now present visuals of audience members sharing their insights, theories, and reflections on the case and its societal implications. Let's keep this conversation alive. Share your thoughts, theories, and reflections in the comments below. Together, we can honor the memory, learn from it, and hopefully contribute to a safer tomorrow. The importance of learning from our past is emphasized as images and video clips showcase the evolution of our society.